guys, welcome to World Without Borders episode 21. Guys, this is a milestone. We are so happy to have you guys here every single episode, and thank you for the wonderful comment. It goes straight to our hearts, guys. You guys are just so amazing. And yeah, please, the first time, if it's your first time watching us, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. We love you all. I am Susie, and I'm hosting this podcast with my wonderful ladies. Megan, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi everyone, thanks Susie. My name is Megan and I'm based out in Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you, Renata.
Hi, my name is Renata Anderson. I'm originally from Brazil and I live in Portland, Oregon, in the US.
And hi, my name is Susie, and I'll be your host today. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And without wasting time, let's go into the topic of today. Guys, we're talking about great life lessons learned. We all have those lessons that we learned in our life, no matter how young or old you are, because the lessons are not learned according to your age, guys. I promise you. So we all have that lesson, and we want to share with you the lesson we learned so that you should probably not do the same mistake we did, or probably do the same mistake, guys, because anyway you choose to do what you want to do. So
Yeah.
without wasting time, I want to make it, what is one of those sayings that you can tell somebody depending on what you went through?
Wow. Susie, I think one of the biggest life lessons I've learned like early in my life is like the older folk know what they're talking about. Right? You know, your parents tell you things and you like take it with a pinch of salt, and the next thing you go, I should have listened, right? So to put it in like a short sentence, listen to the old folk, the older folk. They know what they're talking about. They've been there, done that, and they've got the t-shirt, guys.
I feel like when you're talking, I feel like that person that the mother says don't do this, and you're like, I'm going to do it anyway. And once
Yeah,
you do it, you're like, Mom was wrong. And we hate that when the mother or
mom is
dad
right.
is
Yeah,
right about what he said from the beginning. You're like,
yeah,
I want to do it. I
for
don't want to
sure.
do it. But that's a very good advice. Like, everybody, please. The advice is coming from experience. Learn, listen, and don't do it.
And again, may I add, Susie, before we jump to Renata, I ran into that wall a few times myself before I learned the lesson. You know, so I'm one of your kind that wants to try it anyway. And I hit that wall a few times. So I'm glad to say I finally learned the lesson. So
Yes.
that's where I come from.
It is interesting. It's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Renata?
Wow, that's a good question. I think uh, I think it's more being more connected with animals more and more. So if I would talk to my child myself when I was a child, like I would say, try to convince your parents that you need a cat and a dog.
Try
Love
to
that.
do that.
Because yeah, I have that in my life today, and that's so much better my life with them. So I was like, why I didn't have that always, you know? Yeah.
I think life wise, the lessons I learned, I'm still young, but the lessons I learned in my younger, I can say younger, younger period is that, people don't care about you as you think they do. It's like, is
Mic drop.
is yeah, it's like it's a truth, guys. Like, you think you are the center of the world. Actually, you are not.
Yeah.
People have their own problems, their own business. So to reach at that point where I'm like, once, hold on, they really don't care about me as I do care about myself that much. So you come to that realization of like, what does Susie actually like, instead of what does Peter likes, or what does Sarah likes Susie to be. And so
Yeah.
at that early age, I stopped conforming with
Yeah.
what people want me to be. And I went to the point of like, okay, what does Susie actually wants to be? What does Susie like? I talk about myself a lot, and people may think that I'm self-centered, But no, it's something you learned with time. People say you learn it with time, you better learn it early because you're more happier. You're reaching that safe space of like, I might not be at the position or the place where the world wants me to be because they always wanted to be somewhere. But Susie is not doing good at this moment. Susie need time out.
Yeah.
And Susie's taking time out regardless. Even if you shout on my ear, I'm like, time out, it's time out.
Yes.
Know what I mean? And having that position of like, so that's the life lesson I learned. And that is in a life in general. That is in life in general. Let's go into business. There's
Woohoo.
so many things in business now that you have your own business and you run it. What is one of the lessons you've learned? There's so many, but we'll just go rounds, like
Yeah.
rounds, just one, and you come back to you. But can you tell us one, Megan? I see you all like, I have something to say.
I've got lots to say, but I think the biggest one for me that really brought everything together was like just, and this applies to business and life. And I only see it now once everything started coming together. It's like, be you, just do you. And it works in marketing, guys, it works in life, guys, it works in your relationships. It just be you.
Yeah,
That's like the magic of it.
I love that you say that because the uniqueness, what people are looking for is uniqueness, not the
Yeah,
same thing. And
yeah,
I really love that input you're
yeah.
bringing in. What do you think
And
about that, Renata? Yeah. Yes, Megan?
Well, I totally agree with that, and especially today that it's like very uniform, everything. Like people, I don't know, it's like a kind of brainwashing
yeah,
that it's so important, so key to understand yourself, but it's so rare too, in the
mm,
same way that uh, I don't know. I used to ask my friends if the fairy tale of is- job comes and say, "Oh, what kind of job do you love to do it?" And I say, "I don't know." So how do you don't know? It's the fairy tale of the jobs, and you don't know what to ask. It's
yeah.
like no,
I
no.
heard something funny. Somebody said, "Who told you that I was dreaming to work? Why are you talking about my dream job?"
That's true, right? There's a few of those out there, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's like, yeah,
There's a few of
I'm not even dreaming to work, so I don't think I'll ask anything apart from, can you just give me something I can work?
Yeah,
It's funny, yes, but yeah.
yeah.
them. And guys, what I wanted to add earlier about the BU part of it, it's not just about being able to stand out and be unique, and it's the freedom that comes with just allowing yourself and giving yourself that permission to just like do, feel, be you. And it's like nothing else you've experienced. And that feeling, that freedom, and that lack of pressure, it like takes all the pressure off, all the kinds of pressure, like, I don't fit in, I'm not what that one thinks, I'm not what everybody expects, whatever. All of that, it takes it away. So for me, I think that's like really the beginning, the starting point of it. And once you get to that point, like everything else can build from there, and it's like magic, right? It just happens. But once you've got that in place, it like opens up your world like you
I love
wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I love the way you talked about it. But let's be true and go into details. It is not easy, guys, to
No,
be yourself in a midst where everybody is the same and you want to be out of the box. So I think we should talk a little bit about that. Like,
yeah,
you will face challenge. We are not sugarcoating that
yeah.
it will be good. You will face challenges. And Megan, you talked about it, but tell us, how can we overcome those challenges? Because it's not easy to wake up in the morning, everybody goes left, and you decide to go right.
Susie, all you need is Megan's brain, right? So my
Yes.
brain doesn't work like other people's. It's just, and for me, that was the difficult part, was the fact that I tried to hide that I think so differently and I do so differently and I want things to happen differently. And for a long time, that was my issue. And so for me, when I finally got to the point a few years ago, where I just went, you know what, I'm tired of like swimming upstream now. I just want to like go with the flow and just feel what that feels like. That's when I felt okay, this feels like home. So it's a difficult one for me to answer, I think, because it's always just been a thing with me. I always just felt different. And when I started seeing how that different could be good and beneficial, I was going, okay, I'm sure I can live with this, right? And then I stopped hiding it and started embracing it and using it in my space. And yeah, so for me, it's a little difficult in terms of the challenge around getting there. For me, the challenge was not being there.
Yeah, and they and you know the challenge you will always find it, guys. It is not easy to find yourself doing what you want to do in the midst of people that tells you what you're
Yeah,
doing is not right, or in the midst of people that tells you the way you're taking is not the way the future is going. I think if everybody follows that voice, then will not have Facebook, will not have even StreamYard, will not have any of this to be able to
yeah,
use. So I think I really love that proverb, because we have to come to a place where we embrace yourself, and because of you embrace yourself, because we are all born with a different talent and a unique purpose, different, even though we are born from the same mother, the same time, even though we are born in the same hospital, the same place,
yes.
we are all different. And so I really love that. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Renata? What is a one say that you have to, like a one walk saying that you can share with us, lessons?
Well, I think I built a very unique path. Like when I decided to go to Amazon, to the jungle, I didn't know anybody that did that before, like that was very far from my reality and the way I was raised. And then I decided to go to Africa. I never talked with anybody before go to Africa that went to Africa. So I don't know. I think I have this spirit to, okay, I'm going to be the first one. So if I don't know anybody, I'm going to do it, by myself. And it was funny because when I did my PhD, I was in an operation management department where a lot of people were engineers, and I am a nurse. And
Yeah,
they look at me as a unicorn, like, what are you doing here? Like, yeah, it was funny. And so I was never afraid of that. I think and when I see my nurses colleagues from college, the big majority of them, they are in the hospitals up until today, and the hospital was not my place. So I don't know.
yeah,
I love to be in the communities and planning and things like that and see the big picture. So that was natural for me, taking these steps. So I
Thank
don't
you
know.
so much. Thank you for sharing. Like the courage is really, really one of the things we need to learn in life. And I think mine builds up on what you two said, and mine is there is a beginning to everything. That is what I did not know. Why do
yeah,
I say that? Because I thought that as soon as I get myself into it, it will blow up. It will become the best, and there is nothing best than that. That is wrong. That is a complete lie. They are telling you, if they ever tell you that things will go as smooth as you plan in your head, that's a lie.
yeah,
In everything I've learned, there is a beginning, and the beginning is as small as a crumb of bread, like the breadcrumbs. The beginning is as small as those crumbs, and it's
yeah,
like a lot of it's a lot of crumbs coming together to be able to do that, to have that bread
yeah,
that you are able to see. And every project you're starting, guys, in the workforce, no matter how, it always started with small.
Yeah.
Look into Facebook. I'll take an example. Facebook, look into that. The story behind it, it started with one man in his garage. And every big project started with you and you sitting together and saying, you know what, we are going to do this. We are going to write that first appointment letter. We are going to write that first application. We are going to it start with you. And most of the time, there is no one at the beginning. I think I went through a lot of mentorship and they didn't tell me that.
Mm.
They told me whatever you go in, you will succeed. Ah, that's good. That's very nice to hear. But they
Yeah.
didn't tell me the beginning is you and you. They always told me there's oh, you will always find partners, you'll be popular. It's a lie. It's a
Yeah.
big lie. It's you and you. It's two people coming. It's two people coming together. That is actually one, and then
Yeah.
you believe in the vision enough for it to go
Yeah.
somewhere. So
For
that's what I
sure.
learned. And Kim
Yeah,
said that too, guys.
like every big tree start from a seed, no?
It start from a
Yeah.
seat. Exactly. I wrote that in my book.
For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to, and I think this is something that you learn as you grow,
Mhm.
mature, should I say. And it's just the fact that you actually have to be realistic enough to expect the unexpected, right? So, like Susie said, nothing ever runs just as smoothly as you picture it in your head. And I think you'd be a fool if at the age of 30, 40, 50, you're still thinking everything's just going to run perfectly smooth. It's like expect the unexpected and just like know that it's going to come and just do what you can to be ready for it. Sometimes you can't and you've just got to like figure it out on the way, figure it out on the way. But half the battle is won if that unexpected thing doesn't knock you off your feet every single time it comes around.
Yes, I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
especially in the workforce is real different. And also one other thing I'll add before going forward is like we think success is the one thing. That's one thing I've learned in the workforce or corporate world, or maybe in my own business. Success is not a one event. It is really
Mm.
not. So the events that made you successful today can be your great example tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you also always have to be on that improving state, learning
Yeah.
state, bringing something new, bringing something up to date, which sometimes it becomes tiring because
Yeah.
you're like I did this, people will praise me for that. No, the next minute they are done with it and they want more, and the more you do the more they expect.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we always have to be on your feet when you come to like building your own business. There's always a new version of something that have to come up. So
Mm.
I've learned not to settle on my success, instead to celebrate it and move forward next.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to know and to clarify for yourself and to be able to define what you see as success.
Hmm.
Because what Susie thinks success is in her world is not what Megan or Renata thinks success would be in their world, right? And we've got different standards, we've got different dreams, we've got different purposes. And if you allow other people to influence what your thoughts about success would be, you're just never gonna get there. You're not even gonna get close. And that's really sad to imagine.
Yeah.
And
So
that's also the beauty about success, you know, it's there's so many ways to look at
Yeah.
success, no? There's not just one way. Well, to be honest, almost everything there's more than one way to see things, you know.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
yeah,
and I think that's how we grow. I've been doing that a lot in the last few years. Like, oh, I always thought like that, but I know there's other ways to think about that.
Mm.
Maybe, you know, I can change, and that's possible and exciting and fun, and
Yeah.
so that's how we grow.
I think
That's
that's
another cool, sorry, Susie, that's another cool life lesson right there, Renata. It's like that adaptability, that being open to change and not letting change throw you off track, but just like readjust, pivot, get on with it. right? Because that's like that's part of the journey. That's always going to be there, and it
Yeah,
just I feel it makes the journey
challenge
more fun.
ourselves, no, our thoughts. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I always thought like that, but maybe it's time to change.
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we don't have to call it change. We should not be afraid of it. It's time to upgrade. We don't
Upgrade.
always
Oh, I
have to
like
change.
that.
Just upgrade the way of thinking. Like technology upgrades, human
I
being
love.
thinking upgrade, understanding upgrade. So when you are at peace with the fact that I'm ready to upgrade anytime the information is necessary for me,
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
so I have another.
don't be
Yeah,
so attached to the comfort zone,
Yeah,
because
there is no
sometimes,
comfort zone.
it is not a place to settle at. As soon as you say this is my comfort zone, that's the next problem. That comfort zone is like
Exactly.
I have to upgrade from that and always be. We are not asking you to be uncomfortable all the time. No, we are asking you to be uncomfortable in a good way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? In a
yeah.
way that always pushes you to go forward and do more. But I have before we close this part, I have to ask this question. We read books a lot. Like, what is that person that you read, or maybe not only read, that was that person that you heard about a story that still challenge your mindset in like, okay, I can be that person. I can like the words they said that makes you say, okay, I got this. These great life lessons. Mr.
Yeah.
Megan, can you tell us?
Wow. Susie, I think I'm going to bounce back to one of my usual when people ask me this. I read a book when I was like quite young. And I read the book like 5 or 6 times more, like into my 20s, and I don't think I got half of what the book was about when I was 12, but it was really impactful enough for me to go back to it again and again. And it's called The Power of One, and it's by an author called Bryce Courtney. And it's just about a young boy going through struggles and just the determination and the resilience and the just like no matter what happens, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. And it's like poverty and bullying and everything else that, like, parents that didn't really pay him attention, all of those kinds of things. And for me, it was just like that. I'm a Taurus, guys. So the determination levels are up there. I don't stop when people tell me to stop. And so I loved the theme of that book. It was just like the ultimate determination. So for me, that was something that stayed with me, and I still relate to it.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. And the title is really powerful. What about
Yeah.
you, Renata?
oh, I remember when I was in Amazon, where I was 26, and I stayed at that time. There was no internet, no connection with the world outside of the jungle, and I was in a tribe, in indigenous tribe, and I spent 30 days with them. And I remember that an anthropologist, she came and she gave me a book, and this book was from Amir Klink. Amir Klink is a very famous sailor from Brazil. He sailed around the world by himself, and he wrote a book to say 100 days in the ocean by himself. I was like, if this guy stayed 100 days in the ocean by himself, I can stay 30 days with indigenous communities without, freaking out. And
Right.
he was telling, all these challenges because he could sleep just for 40 minutes and wake up to see again, to don't lose the track. And I was so uh, amazed by this
Yeah.
strange that it really inspired me in my life. Yeah, that was interesting.
Thank you. That looks so interesting. I really love it. Like, it's funny how the stories we hear can really impact our life. I think mine was like since 5 years ago it was one person, one particular person, and he's dead now, but he's amazing. I really love him. He's Dr. Miles Monroe,
Mhm.
because in me I always thought I am a leader, but how can I unlock that leadership potential. So he was like my go-to. I bought the books, I bought the day. I was like, and one phrase that came with me is dying empty.
Yeah.
That is why when I have an idea, I don't keep it for. I'm that person. I will not keep it for me. I'm gonna immediately do a flyer to post that this is coming, even if I don't even know where it will start. Like I don't even know the beginning or the end. I know the end. I know what I want, and then
Yeah.
they just dive in. And so
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of his message on leadership, and as I said, I came out with that one word, and that's my objective. So every time I have a project, if we talk together and I have an idea, the next minute I'm doing it. Like the next minute, instant, I'll be like out there,
Absolutely.
throwing it out. Even though I am like, you have to sit and think about the budget. I don't think about anything. I was just like, we are going to do it anyway, and things like that, which is like my
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah. For sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what? I think it's so important, and we don't realize sometimes how important it is to have that thing to hang on to, that thing that keeps you inspired and keeps you moving forward. And you might not even realize for a long time what it is that keeps you motivated and moving forward. And I just think it's so important for every person to have that, because I can't imagine not having that core that just keeps you moving. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really important for us to encourage people to look for something like that that can actually keep them moving forward and inspired.
Yes, I really agree with you. Yes, Renata?
I think if you don't have that, you're depressed. It's easy like that. Really.
Okay, let me tell you straightforward. That's it.
No,
Mm,
no, no, for sure. Because if
yeah.
you don't have dreams, dreams and vision and like looking for something, you are
Yes.
depressed. It,
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Yeah. I
no.
hear.
People
I
depressed, they don't see anything ahead.
yes.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I don't know. Like
Yeah. And
I've been in
unfortunately,
this place already, and that's you
yeah,
know
it's a sad
it's
place.
something that we have to be aware. Like when something like that is start to like, I don't have any dreams anymore. Pay
Yeah.
attention
Yeah.
because that's a red flag.
I'm with
Yeah,
you. With
because
you.
Yes.
have it means being alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you. That's so
For
powerful.
sure.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, dreaming is the only thing that reminds you I am alive and I still have a purpose. And as long as we are alive, we'll keep dreaming. Dream bigger. As as soon as a dream is achieved, we dream another dream. So we always dream, we keep dreaming bigger and bigger, and we'll definitely accomplish it. Thank you so much for being with us here, guys, with the title Great Life Lessons We Learned. We hope you learn from our own life lessons as we learn from each other. And please tell us about your own life lesson that you think we should add in a other podcast or maybe share with the world. Thank you. And your voice really counts, and we want to hear more about that. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share so that more people can hear about this. You might save a life. You never know, guys. So please do so. Thank you so much for listening, and see you at the next episode. Anything you want to add before we close, girls?
That's it.
All good. Go
Keep
with
Perfect.
dreaming.
Thank you, girls.
dreaming.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. World without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.